So my cats have officially lost their minds. Hello, book dragons. Welcome back to my channel. It's Alyssa. If you're new here, hi, hello, how are you? We are going to have a great time. If you've been with me before, you know what to expect. Sorry if there's a change of angle. My cats decided that they were going to run headfirst into my tripod and knock the camera. Guys! And knock the camera over. What else would I expect? So I have a giant book haul for you. Although I didn't read a lot this last year, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think I read 6, maybe 7 books in all of 2020. I did purchase some books. I didn't purchase a lot. Mostly when I started getting back into reading in December is when I was like, yes, let's add to my collection again. These books are mostly the books that I received between like December. Oh my god. So these are the books that I added to my collection, whether it was through gifts for the holidays or I purchased them myself. And by myself, I mean with Megan's money. I have like over 30 books here, so let's just get started. They're not in any particular order. They're just how I grabbed them. I have 2 book sets that I got. The Mysterious Benedict Society set. This set includes 5 books. I think one of them, I mean, it's clearly a novella. And this whole series is by Trenton Lee Stewart. I don't know anything about this. I remember seeing this all over Barnes & Noble. For the longest time, these books were really popular. So I thought I would finally get my hands on them, and I'll probably do a vlog reading these. Let me know. Press 1 in the comments down below if you want a vlog of me reading this series. I also got this set, oh gosh, the Song of the Lioness Quartet by, is it Tamara or Tamora Pierce? I know that this is a very popular author and I haven't read any of their work. This set was on sale. I spent like $7 on it. So I thought I would start here. I think Gavin over at How to Train Your Gavin has been reading this quartet and liking it. So why not copy other people? And of course, I don't know anything about it. I should say I'm not including any of my Book of the Month books on here because I just don't want to. But I first got this book for Book of the Month and I thought I was gonna really love it, but I keep picking it up and putting it down. So I just need to sit down and just freaking read it. And that is Star Daughter. I also picked up the Owl Crate version just because sprayed edges and it was beautiful and I loved the purple. And can we talk about the cover? It's gorgeous. So the main character of this book is Half Star. Her mother was a star that came down to Earth, fell in love with her father, and then ended up leaving them and going back to the stars. She can hear their star song and she's drawn to it, but she avoids it because she's trying to remain hidden. Also, she has silver celestial hair that she dyes black. That's about as far as I've gotten into it. I've maybe read 50 pages, but I do really want to give this book another go. So I'm going to do that. And this book is gorgeous. Hello. I also picked up Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This is what I've got fur everywhere. The main character is a twin. Their sister gets brutally murdered and they're trying to track down what happened. At some point there's like the Prince of Hell or the Prince of Death, something like that comes into play. But I heard that this is more of a dark YA fantasy and I really like grim dark fantasy. So I think I'm excited to pick this up. I mean, I know I'm excited to pick this up. I think I'm going to like it. Let me know if you read it and what you thought of it. I might wait until the spookier months, like fall-ish, to pick this up. So I just, you know, prematurely bought it like I buy everything. I also picked up the 3rd installment of The Adventure Zone. This is Petals to the Metal by the McElroy family. I absolutely adore this series. It's based on a podcast where these brothers and their dad play Dungeons and Dragons in real time, and I just love everything about this series. So I tend to buy the latest installment every year. There's going to be 7 and I just want them all now. Please, can we just have them come out now. But if you haven't read this series, please go read it. It's really quick. It's a graphic novel, and I don't want to give anything away. It's funny, it's sarcastic. The three main characters, the heroes, they're just anti-heroes, and they just don't take anything too seriously. Chef's kiss. Another book that I'm so excited to have in my hands is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. So this book has been making its rounds on BookTube. I think it came out in January. It's about Amari. Her brother goes missing, and she's wondering why people aren't paying as much attention to this as they should. She finds this briefcase with an invitation from her brother, or her brother put her in this program. It's the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. I've heard that it's Men in Black-esque, and so I'm really excited to read this. I wanted to get to this last month. Spoiler alert, I didn't, but I will pick this up probably this month. Another book that I picked up was Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I have no idea what this book was about, but I was doing an order from Owl Crate because there were a couple things I wanted to pick up, and I saw this and it had sprayed edges, so I bought it. Something about the forest. It says the forest took everything from her, now it's her only hope. So yeah, that's this one. I'm the worst at talking about books, yo. Did I just say yo? I'm an embarrassment to humans everywhere. I decided I wanted to get a little bit more into romance, so the next couple books I'm gonna mention are fantasy romances. So that's what I'm doing with my life. I picked up A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. This is the first book in a series. Elves only show up for two things, wives or war. The main character gets chosen to be the Elf King's wife. Honestly, I saw a couple people talk about it and they really liked it, but I loved the cover, and I don't read a lot of things that have to do with elves unless it's like really high fantasy, so I'm excited to pick this up. Another fantasy romance that I picked up was Pawn. It's book 1, Night of the Dark Fae by Angela J. Ford. This book is about a main character who has like superhuman strength, sells herself to mercenaries, and then one day she either gets taken by a Dark Fae king, or I don't know if it's a king, I think it's just a Dark Fae, or she gets hired by one. This was a beautiful cover, and I think Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction was talking about it, and it just sounded very interesting. Not surprising, I picked up From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This book follows a main character named Poppy, and she's the maiden, which means that like her ascension, which no one knows what it is supposed to save her people. There's the Craven, which are these creatures that are turned and they're monsters, are attacking the kingdom. At the same time, she is battling with what it means to be the maiden and dealing with emotional and physical abuse and falling in love. But this book has definitely made its rounds. A book that I've heard really good things about is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This was posed as like a YA version of Knives Out, and I absolutely loved that movie. So I'm very excited to get to this. I think even Megan might like to read this, so I might make her read it with me. One of the latest books I received was The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This is the Owl Crate edition. This book follows the main character who, instead of bleeding red, she bleeds gold at this ceremony, and that means that she gets taken and forced into a life she didn't expect. That's all I read about it. I tried to go into these without knowing much. Honestly, this cover is one of the most stunning covers I've ever seen in my life. So I actually also purchased the Waterstones edition. It's paperback. I'm waiting for that to arrive. Hopefully I like this book since now I have 2 copies of it. I picked up A Wolf for a Spell by Kara Sutton. I literally know nothing about this. I'm probably gonna read this just so I can say I did. I know it has Russian folklore, and it's a middle grade read, and I've been trying to read a lot more middle grade. It's very comforting to me. It makes me feel like I'm at home, and I enjoy that. One of the books that Megan gave me was Fury Born by Claire Legrand. It's the first book in the Imperium trilogy. This book follows two women set in two different timelines, and one I think is supposed to be like the evil queen that like kills everyone, and then the other one is supposed to be the one that saves everyone, and I don't think you're actually supposed to know who is who. Or am I thinking of a completely different series? I got about 50 pages into this book and then put it down for some reason, so my bad. Let me know if you've read this, what you thought of it. I've been really intrigued by this since this book came out, and I think now the trilogy is over. I know now the trilogy is over. I don't know why I said I think. So let me know your thoughts if you read this. If you want to read this, like buddy read this, let me know as well, because I definitely need to do more buddy reads. It will help get me back in the habit of reading more than 2 books a month. Another cover buy for me, I literally have no idea what this book is about, is Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. I saw this revealed on Twitter over a year ago, and I lost my mind over the cover. I pre-ordered it, and I still haven't picked it up. I don't want to read what it's about at all because this book just gives mystery vibes, so I don't want to know too much. If you've read this, let me know what you thought. If you want to read it with me, let me know as well. Another cover buy for me was Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron. This book takes place 200 years after the Cinderella story. The kingdom has taken the Cinderella story and kind of turned it into a religion, and also turned it into a way to oppress women. The main character, Sophia, is fighting against this, but is realizing that no one else will pick up the cause. I don't have to say more on that. Another book that I've seen get a lot of buzz is Fable by Adrienne Young. I've heard this posed as kind of like a new fairy tale-esque book. All I know is that Fable is abandoned on an island by her father and like has to fight to survive. The second book is coming out this year, so I really want to read this one. And again, the covers lately have just been really good. A random book that I don't know why I was so intrigued by, because if you can't tell, I tend to read fantasy and sci-fi. So I picked up Super Adjacent by Crystal Sestari. This is a book about a girl who works with superheroes. I don't think she's a super, but I think she might end up saving them. I don't know much about it, but WandaVision and The Boys has just gotten me into wanting to read a little bit more about superheroes, and I grew up reading comic books, so I don't really want to go that route. Not anything against comic books. So when I saw that this book was posed as a superhero story with a main character that wasn't a superhero, I really wanted to read it. I haven't seen anyone talk about this book. Maybe it was because during the time that this book came out, I wasn't as involved in BookTube and I was dealing with my own health issues, and maybe that's why. I don't know, but I want to read it. Okay, so I can for sure say that this book is awesome. I read it in December and it got me out of my year-long reading slump. Part of my reading slump was just I was really sick and trying to get better. But that is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This book is so freaking good. This is the Owl Crate edition. I loved the book so much. Hi, sorry about that. I don't know where I was. I don't know what angle I had or the lighting. I'm not sure if any of you can relate if your cats are demon spawn and like to climb into the cupboards to get bread or chips or anything out of the cupboard. I'm talking top cupboard. Like to pull it out and then just destroy everything. Let me know in the comments down below. If not, and I'm the only one who has cat demon spawn, it's gonna make me a little sad. I cannot tell you how many loaves of bread have been lost to my cats. So Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I have the regular versions floating around somewhere. I purchased that in December. I loved it so much that I saw that Owl Crate had their exclusive version on their website and I had to purchase it. So I have 2 copies. No shame. because I love this book. This book follows Bree. She's either 16 or 17. She gets accepted into this sort of kind of like Running Start program, but for a university where she lives there. If you don't know what Running Start is, it's where junior and senior year in America, you can go to a community college and get college credit and high school credit. So she gets accepted into this program. It's prestigious. She's brilliant. Her mother does not support her going away. This book starts a few months after her mother's death. While she's at this college, she finds that there's a lot more going on than what you think. There's magic, there's secret societies, and one of these secret societies is based off of Arthurian legend. And we all know how I feel about Arthurian legend when done well. This was brilliant. The magic system was so interesting. I loved this book and I cannot sing its praises enough. And it's the first book in a series, so I can't wait for the second one to come out. Another book that I've heard nothing but good things about is Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. The main character of this book is sent away to be a part of this competition to join the Prince's Council of 11, I think is what it's called. Essentially, she is sent with the mission to kill the prince. I'm very excited to read it. I had planned on reading it last month, but life happened. Another Owl Crate book that I have on this pile, this list, is Lore by Alexandra Bracken. This one has a black cover. My only thing that makes me a little sad is that it doesn't fit correctly, and when you look at it from the side, it's very like off to the side. This book is about this event that happens where 9 Greek gods are forced to walk the earth as mortals, as humans, and they're hunted. The main character, I think, ties themselves to Athena, and stuff happens. I love Greek mythology. I sound like every basic white girl. I love Greek mythology. I took classes in college about Greek mythology. It's something that's very fascinating to me. I've studied a lot of mythology in college, not just Greek mythology. If you didn't know, I'm a student for history with an emphasis on cultural anthropology. So I take, basically my studies is taking a look at the beginning of the beginning and how things in society have influenced the societal structures over time, and a huge part of that is found in mythology. That just sounds like a whole bunch of blathering, but I love mythology, so there you go. I picked up the first 3 books in the 5 Realms series by Kieran Larwood. The first one being Podkin One Ear. The second one is The Gift of Dark Hollow. The third one, this really upsets me because it's a different cover texture, is The Beasts of Grimheart, and it bothers me because if you look at the spines, so I need to track down and hopefully find versions that match. Essentially, this series was posed to me as Middle Earth or Lord of the Rings, but with rabbits and animals. Yes, please. Yes, yes, yes. I read the first few pages of Podkin One Ear a few weeks ago, and it's set at their version of Christmas. So I was thinking of getting the whole series that's out so far and waiting until around Christmas time to read it because it kind of gave me those vibes. We'll see. I've been wanting to read this for a while. So let me know if you've read this in the comments down below because, I mean, it's about rabbits. One of my favorite books that I read in the last 2 years, year and a half, was The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. I loved that book so much that anything this author writes, I'm going to pick up. So that means The Once and Future Witches. My mother-in-law got this book for me for Christmas. I think my mother-in-law got me Legendborn as well. I don't know anything about it. I don't need to know anything about it. It has witches in the title. The cover is gorgeous and I love the author. I also picked up volume 2 of Check Please book two, I should say, Sticks and Scones. This is a web series. It's a graphic novel series. The main character makes YouTube-esque videos and also bakes and plays hockey, and volume one was so cute. I want to reread it because it's been since 2019 that I read it, so I want to read that one and then read this one as well. If you've read it, let me know what you think. If you haven't read Check Please, do yourself a favor and go and read it. Another graphic novel that I picked up is The OK Witch by Emma Steinkellner. This is about a 13-year-old girl who likes everything that's kind of witchy, but then realizes that maybe witches aren't what she thinks or aren't what they seem in books and movies. This, I think, is set at Halloween, so I picked it up because I love having graphic novels to read in between reading heavier books, and I think I'm gonna wait until Halloween to read this, but it's so cute and the cover is so cute, the artistry is so cute, and it's about witches, so yes, please. Another book that I picked up recently is Root Magic by Eden Royce. This book is set in the 1960s in South Carolina, and it follows two twins and their family and learning about root magic. I know that there's more to it. They live on like the marshlands. I know that there's also some historical elements to this. I know that the 1960s in South Carolina was a very tumultuous time for fighting for integration. So we'll see how this book plays out, how it addresses historical issues of the time while also being a middle grade book and dealing with root magic and their family's magic and family history. I think that this book is going to be so worth it to read. I have a lot of like witch books on here. Anyone surprised? A book that I have seen some people talk about, but it just seems so freaking cute, is Ava Evergreen, Semi-Magical Witch by Julie Abe. This book follows the main character who wants to be this amazing witch. Before she turns 13, she wants to like hit this special level of witchhood, but she only has a little bit of magic. And I think this is gonna be really cute. But I just love everything about the book. The cover, the witchiness, her wanting to be a witch. Like, look at that cute little animal. I'm very excited to read this if you couldn't tell. And last but certainly not least is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I'm actually currently reading this book. I'm about halfway through. It follows the main character who is kind of born out of a curse. It's very hard to explain what this book is about. It takes place in Bethel, which is a very puritanical society. It's very reminiscent of Christianity. This book definitely hits home for me as someone who was raised in a very strict Christian household. I can see so many things about this story that I can relate to that have messed me up emotionally. Part of it is the rules, the regulations that are put on women and their bodies. It definitely is more of a slow burn story, but I highly recommend it already. If you've read it, let me know what you think in the comments down below, or if you're wanting to read it. So that's it for my massive book haul. I'm probably going to have another one coming in a few months because I like to buy books, like a lot of people in the book community and on BookTube. If you've read any of the books that I showed, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about them. If you want to read any of these books with me, please, please, I beg you, I definitely... What is happening? They just all came flooding from the back. I just got your text. Yeah. I don't know what I was going to say, so I will see you guys next time. And until then, wear your masks, wash your hands, practice social distancing. And as always, remember to be nice to yourself and be kind to others. Bye!